adolescence with two characteristics. I was extremely loud and very obnoxious, which I admit these are not good things to be as an adult, but they tend to make you popular as a child. I was unbelievably popular in high school, which is a curse. It makes the rest of your life seem boring. I went to Portland State University in 1970 to study philosophy. I felt invisible walking through the halls. Some of you must remember that. It's a horror. And I rebelled by becoming a hippie. I became a hippie because it was the thing to become. I grew hair down to my ass. I had a scraggly, miserable beard. But I was a bad hippie. I never protested anything ever. I never got stoned once. I listened to the Monkees, for Christ's sake. After 6 years of studying philosophy, I graduated from being a loud, obnoxious asshole to being a dark, brooding asshole. And I set off for a much, much scarier place than college. The real world. I feel so disconnected so often from the real world, whatever that is. I don't know if you can relate to this at all. I look in the mirror and I hunt for myself in my face, and I cannot find me. I know I'm back there. I know I'm in my eyes somewhere, but I can't find. And then I notice from time to time that I'm getting older, and my hair is graying, that I have these wrinkles, and I can't believe that I'm 40. Now, I'm not saying 40 is old, but you must remember when 40 seemed really old. I remember when 20 seemed really old. Christ, I walk into McDonald's, there are fetuses working behind the counter. Now, at the age of 40, my life literally could not be going better, so I'm happy. At the age of 30, the inverse was true. I was so depressed at 30 because I thought when you're 30, you should be there. Wherever you're going in life, this is it. You're an adult, you should be doing that thing. When I was 30, I was living in a hovel downtown Portland, trying to write a novel. I was making $2,000 to $3,000 a year. I felt like a miserable failure. I had gambled with my life, and I had lost. And during this depressed era of my life, there was a comedy competition that I entered. Scared, scared, scared. Dripping sweat. Bad jokes I had written. I'm up there, and I get off, and I won the competition because everybody else in it sucked a little more than I did. And when they announced that I was the winner and I took the stage, the place went crazy and changed my life. I want to be the center of attention. That's what I hate about going to people's houses that have kids, you know. I want people to know who I am. I know it's a sickness in our society to lust after fame. I'm sorry. I don't want to die an unknown comedian, which is exactly what would happen if I died tonight. If somebody broke into our house tonight, stabbed me to death, in a couple of days in the paper, you'd see the headline, "Comedian found in pool of blood." And I know they call me a comedian because that's what I am. That's all you are in the eyes of the world, the job you perform. You never open a headline or a newspaper and see a headline like "Snappy Dresser found in pool of blood." You're an occupation with one exception, if you're famous. See, if I had done something substantial with my life, if you guys knew who I was, they would print Rick Reynolds found in pool of blood. I like that. Of course, at this point in my career, they'd probably just print "man stains carpet." It's not enough. Actually, in a lot of ways, I see my desire for fame as my bid for immortality. I fear death. It's a spooky notion that I'm not going to be here someday. Everybody in this room knows they're going to die, and it's really obvious. You know what? Not one person in this room feels they're going to die. You cannot wrap your brain around that fact. You just can't get there. Now, I am so obsessed with death. You ever watch movies from the 30s and think to yourself, geez, everybody in this movie is dead now. I watch movies from the 70s and I think, geez, all of the dogs in this movie are dead. I think it's really weird that we're all going to die. And everybody in this room deals with it somehow. Somehow or other, you reach beyond your death. I do it with my career. You know what I want from life? I want to leave behind me a body of work that might affect somebody's life past my own. That is what I want. And it's what my wife wants. My wife wants children. She wants to imbue her sense of herself into her kids and know she's leaving some essential ingredient of herself for posterity. Now, a lot of people seek their immortality through their religion. In our society, if you believe in God, your body may pass, but your spirit, the essence of you, ascends into the heavens, where it dwells for eternity. God, that's a neat program. I wish I could sign up, but I can't. The person I am, this thing in here, could never make that leap of faith. I was 8 years old when I first realized that. You know, I was sitting in the basement of the Wood Village Baptist Church when our Sunday school teacher said the most bizarre thing. She said, and then Jesus changed the water into wine. I thought about it a minute, and I raised my hand and said, how? And she said, well, Ricky, you know, it's like creation. God can do anything. It's called a miracle. And you have to believe that to get to heaven. I couldn't believe it. The harder I thought about it, I couldn't even believe that other people believed it. What I believed when I was 8 is what I continue to believe today, science. I think things are somehow explainable. Will you show me any kind of scientific principle that even comes close to explaining the changing of water into wine? Some sort of Chardonnayization process or other. Now, religion had a much, much bigger strike against it when I was a kid. My brother Mike. Mike is crazy. I mean, certifiably one of these crazy guys with the Bible. He believes that all Jewish people will burn in hell. He does. He believes that women belong in the home. He believes that homosexuality is a disease. Yeah. Mike's the kind of guy that has to talk to God because nobody else can stand him. Things came to a head between Mike and me. When was this? Like 3 years ago, Thanksgiving. We're sitting around Mom's table. The turkey's there. Everything's growing cold as Mike prays over it. 8 heads are bowed. I'm staring out the back window at Mom's bird feeder. And there's a silver thaw, so the birds are trying to peck through to get to this seed. And I'm riveted on it. And Mike keeps glancing at me, very annoyed because I'm breaking the prayer chain. And I'm totally oblivious. I'm in my own world. I'm thinking, do birds talk to each other? Do they get cold? I'm thinking bird things at this point. And Mike shocked me at the end of the prayer. He just loses it. You know, Ricky, I'm really getting annoyed with you. You know what I'm starting to think, and I mean this too. I'm starting to think that you're not going to go to heaven. And I lean toward him very calmly. I go, Mike, I don't want to go to heaven. You know why? You're going to be there. It's so exasperating. You must know this feeling. You ever been awakened early in the morning by a Jehovah's Witness? You're walking downtown, you're accosted by a crazy street preacher with a megaphone. You turn on the TV, there's Tammy Baker, Jerry Falwell, that Reverend Scott guy that never sleeps. Has it ever dawned on you that heaven might be a very annoying place? I'll tell you, my big fear in life is that I have a son who, as a teenager, rebels against me by becoming devoutly religious. Nothing would bother me more. I picture myself pounding on his door at night. You're not praying in there, are you, son? No, Daddy, I'm masturbating. Well, good for you. There are 600 people in this room right now. Somebody must be offended by this time. Let me say something in all sincerity. If you believe in God, if you're spiritual, and I bet most of you are, most people in the country are, I envy you that aspect of your life. Please trust me, I looked really, really hard for the answers to life. I could not find them. And you could. You know where you came from. You know where you're going. You know why you're here. I think you're wrong. But I do envy you the conviction. And you know what? I have something like religious convictions. I studied religion for years. I've read the Bible. You know, I'm not the Antichrist. The Bible is a beautiful book. If you follow the precepts and the philosophies in this book, your life will be so enriched. I just don't think it's the truth. It's also very hard to read. Horrible character development in the Bible. Look at your New Testament. The main character, Jesus, first appears as a baby. The very next scene he's in with lines, he is suddenly an adult delivering sermons. Well, you got to ask yourself, what happened to teen Jesus? Where is that? I have a theory. I think they avoided this part of his life because he was a problem kid. He's got to be a little spoiled. Imagine you were 13 years old, okay? You show up at the father-son picnic with God. You're going to win every event you enter. And nobody can eat more pie than God. Don't bother trying. I'm actually drawn to a lot of religions, a lot of Eastern religions, Judaism, because they tend to emphasize taking who you are and bettering it for no reward whatsoever. Western religions are all very reward-oriented. Of Western religions, my favorite is Catholicism because it's so bizarre. Well, the further you dig in the Catholic doctrine, the more things like exorcism become reasonable to you. It is somewhat ironic that my two favorite things in any religion are both in the Catholic Church: confession and the Pope. I love the Pope, which doesn't say a lot. I mean, everybody likes the Pope. Nobody ever says, that fucking Pope. Pointy-headed bastard. You never get that.